Hello, Brian here. You may know me from interacting on Twitter, the streaming thing, or the Coffee Cut Studios thing. You may know me from a couple of things. I've been around for a while trying to do the content creation thing, and recently I took a long break. I took a long break primarily because I had to find a job because I was broke and it was killing me inside, but also because I was working on something pretty cool. I'm working in a podcast called the Neurodivergent Creator, and it's an interview podcast where I talk to content creators of all types about what it's like to be a content creator with their particular neurodivergencies. Whether it's ADHD, autism, OCD, I've talked to kind of a few things across the spectrum. And I found it really interesting. I think it's really cool conversation, and I think you're going to like it. Especially if you are a content creator trying to find some sort of semblance of unity or solidarity when it comes to having your brain fight you all the time. Because my brain fights me all the time. Right now, I would rather be playing Rivals than talking to this camera at all, because I'm a cheap dopamine addict, and I'm assuming that a lot of us are. And so this conversation is actually, or these conversations, this podcast, is a few things. I think it's a way for me to connect with other content creators. I think content creators are quite lonely creatures because by definition, I think that some of us are a little bit of a social outcast, or our neurodivergencies prevented us from connecting with other people the way that we would have liked to. So I think we tend to stick to our own little corners, and I wanted to sort of break that. I wanted to connect with other content creators and have cool and interesting conversations. And I gotta be honest with you, I think I've done it. This first season is going to be this next season is going to be 6 beautiful guests. 5. I got to lock down the 6th one. But it's been kind of amazing. I've had a lot of lovely conversation, and a lot of lovely conversation that I think you will be interested in if you are a content creator sort of trying to navigate the difficulties of having a brain that wants to fight you at all times, whether it's ADHD or OCD or autism or just whatever it is you got going on, man. It's a tough world out there, and it's tough maintaining your mental health while you're doing it. And so, yeah, that's the whole premise of the show. It's talking to people that have dealt with this and have sort of come out the other end of this. They're successful, they enjoy what they do, and they've kind of like found ways to combat their brain. And I think that's a value to you, the viewer, the person who is looking to connect with people struggling with the same thing, or maybe wondering why you're a horrible human being that can't fight through it. And I'm here to tell you, you're not a horrible human being. It happens to the best of us. Some of my favorite content creators struggle with the same things that I struggle with. They're just at a different stage in their journey. And I think that's where we're all at a different stage in our own journey. So that's what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be lovely conversations, talking to people about interesting things and about the things that they've done. So if you want to watch a bunch of people that have struggled with their sort of mental illness or mental affliction, and dialed it in and sort of made it work for them, and you're looking for some sort of unity or solidarity about that, this is going to be the podcast for you. First season is coming out soon. I don't know when. I'm editing it right now. I'll have a little bit of a better intro when it comes to the first official episode. But I just wanted to throw this out there to sort of update everybody and start throwing out feelers. The podcast is going to be on YouTube and Spotify. Primary platform is definitely going to be YouTube. I think YouTube is best for that. It's going to be a cool video podcast. So come check it out. You're watching this on the YouTube channel, so please subscribe because I want this to take off. And the first season is going to be 6 episodes with 6 amazing content creators. Here's a little bit snippets of the conversations.
And I think a lot of people don't realize this is like a lot of streamers, they have their on personality and then they have who they actually are. Like, I'm definitely a lot more hyper and a lot more excitable, and I laugh a lot more and scream a lot when I'm on stream. That's when I'm on. But then when I'm not streaming, I'm very fucking quiet.
It's a huge burden. And, you know, I'm sure you've heard people call it a superpower, right? You know, like, oh man, I wish I could hyper focus on something. No, you don't. Because you don't choose what you get to hyper focus on. You just get locked in. You spend 6 hours in one day making a plastic bracket, and then you print it in your basement.
I am probably the most productive person that I know. And it's not to, like, dunk on my friends. I just genuinely feel like I am, and I am constantly working, but not in a workaholic sense. It's actually like the neurodiversities that push me forward to do things.
I feel like for all the different, like, we were raised in school to think that, math is math, history is history, technology is technology, and creativity is just art. It's drawing. It's movies, or it's like writing movies and stuff like that. But I've come to find out over the years that there are different levels and types of creativity that are assigned to all different areas of life and expertise. So math requires a certain kind of requires a certain kind of creativity that only a certain brain made and developed and structured a certain way can work with and articulate and use and tap into it, maybe easier than somebody who's more wired for film.
Sick. Yeah, the first season is going to be 6 episodes. After that, I'm looking for other people to become guests and come talk to me on the show. So if you are a neurodivergent person who is also a content creator and you would like to offer your insight into what it's like to be a content creator with neurodivergencies, please reach out. The contact info will be in the YouTube banner. You can find me on Twitter at Brian Archia. I would love to talk to you. I love to talk to you because I think it's really important to sort of get this idea that if you don't deal with this stuff, or if you're unable to sort of fight this stuff effectively, then it means that you're a failure. I don't think that's true. I just think we're all at different steps in our journey, like I said before. And I think it's good to hear from people that are forward from you in the journey and people that are backwards from you in the journey, so that we can just develop some sense of community and connection together, because it's lonely. It's lonely out here. I'm in a room with like 3-4 lights and a big camera. Yeah, this is a weird thing to want to do. And a lot of us want to do it. So I figure, why not provide some insight into why we want to do it and why it helps people with our particular brains. So if you're interested, hit subscribe. Episodes will be coming somewhat soon. And I will see you all later. Bye.